Good afternoon, everyone. This is Coach Matt with our Wednesday workout. Again, multiple options for how we finish this one today. So let's begin with our warm-up. We're going to do some jumping jacks, just a little bit of light cardio, a little bit of springy stuff. Get your mini band, and this will go around the middle of your shin or up to your knee. I don't like to put it above my knee because then it kind of rides up higher, but some people like to do multiple bands. Some people like to have it up higher or lower. It doesn't really make that big of a difference as long as it is pulling your knees together and you are actively pushing your knees apart with your feet parallel, right? So this feels a lot different. If I turn my foot like this, it does not have the same impact on my glutes as if I have my foot turned like this and I'm pushing my knees apart. Okay, so just recognize that the angles that you hold your feet at influence what muscles get used in the hips and the legs. Okay, so we're doing band monster walk. After the band monster walk, next one is a little hip strength and flexibility piece. So we're doing the Turkish get up, just a piece of it though, right? So we'll start from this position right here where I've got a light kettlebell or dumbbell in my hand. The same leg that's holding that kettlebell or dumbbell, the knee is bent. I'm gonna elevate my hips so they're off the ground, and I'm just pulling my knee back until it is directly underneath that dumbbell, and then I'm kicking back through without letting my butt touch the ground, right? So that's 1, 2, kick back, 3. So every time your knee touches the ground, you count a rep. And you're doing that for 8 reps, trying to use no momentum, control the range of motion, and feel that stretch in the hips when you do that, okay? Next one, get a light band. We're doing some good mornings. If you want to do a band Romanian deadlift, that's fine too. But good morning, I'm just hinging right here, knees like almost straight, but not quite locked out, stretching the hamstrings. And then when I'm finished with that, I can take that band off and do rows. If you want to use a single band for the row, or if you want to step on both sides of it for the row, that's much harder, but get 8 reps of that band bent over row. And then bar in the rack, we're doing some warm-ups for our back squats. On the first couple reps, if you want to throw in a solid pause and stretch at the bottom to loosen up your hips and your ankles, that's probably a good idea. And then rack it, put it back, and go through that round again. We are doing sets of 4. Percentages are similar to what the deadlifts were last week. We're moving down, or marching down in the rep range and marching up in the percentage and the rest range. There is a superset on this one that is intended to improve the performance of everything, and it is very synergistic with a heavy back squat. And this is a fast, light, seated box jump. So you're gonna sit onto a bench or a box, an alternate box that's approximately at parallel, rock backward, and then with my feet off the ground just a little bit, as I rock forward, I drive my feet into the ground. I want to say like smack my feet into the ground, but it is an explosive drive where I'm trying to put as much force in as small amount of time as possible into the ground in order to wind up on top of the box. And then I'll step back and down, again, seated box jump, jump and land on top of the box, right? If you notice there, like I swung my arms back and then swing my arms forward so that I get the maximum amount of arm momentum right when my feet strike the floor. There's a little bit of timing that's involved in that. Play with the timing of the arms. If it doesn't feel quite right, try altering the timing just a bit. Then we're going into your choice of either intervals or extra credit or both. If you want to mix and match a little bit, extra credit first, intervals second, your choice. But what the interval work is 3 rounds on a 30-30 work rest ratio, and then an additional 2 minutes rest after you finish all the exercises. And these will be very taxing on your legs if you do them at a high intensity, okay? So it's basically 1 minute we're working on the bike, where it's 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Then we got 1 minute where you're working on a lunge wall ball. So this is an alternate form of a wall ball that still involves a partial squat and then I hit the target, right? But we're doing it with a lunge instead of a squat. So I start with the ball at my chin, step back, tap the knee, and then one motion up, throw and catch, up, throw and catch, and I'm just switching legs every time. So there's a little extra balance component to it, but it has the same feel as a wall ball. I want you to use the extension of your legs to create that initial momentum drive to get that ball up to the target. The next one is a dumbbell snatch. Not a crazy heavy weight, but dumbbell snatch, and we're alternating hands left and right. So this is from the ground, touch the dumbbell to the ground, drive with the legs, and punch to the overhead position. And then the last one is just a goblet squat parallel hold, and you'll score this one in seconds, right? So I don't want to see work go anymore. Like 30 would be full credit, right? And if you can't hold parallel for like 25 seconds and you fail at 26, then you would count 25 seconds for this one if you're keeping score. But I'm just holding a dumbbell up in front of me and I'm trying to go to the parallel position. So right here is pretty easy. I could hold this for a long time. Right here is also pretty easy. I could hold this for a long time. The parallel position is the mechanically least advantageous position to hold in the squat, right? So it's the hardest position to hold. So try to get as tough of a spot right there as you can and hold it as long as you can, up to a total of 30 seconds, okay? And then you get a 22-minute rest, which is actually a 2.5-minute rest because you only did 30 seconds of that parallel hold, all right? We're doing 3 rounds through of that for max total reps. And then the extra credit, if you like to, or let's say, man, I am feeling beat up from the last 3 days. I am not feeling like more high intensity stuff. You can just go and do the extra credit and get some strength and some accessory work in. But the first one is back rack lunges. So this is the bar is in the same rack position that I had for my squat. And now I'm either doing a step forward, tap that knee to the ground, and then back to the middle, or I can start further forward and step backward, tap that knee to the ground, and then back to the middle. But either way, alternate left, right when you do that, and have a significant load on the bar if you want to get a lot out of that. The next one is a single leg heel tap from a plate. This is one of our really good knee rehab exercises. I've got my plate out and I just reach down and barely touch my heel, no weight on this leg, and then squeeze and stand tall. The next one is a reverse plate or sled drag. I don't have that thing out, but you can literally just drag this plate backward. The trick on this one is keeping tension on the band and walking in this reverse toe heel pattern. So toe heel, and I'm staying relatively low, not kicking anything behind me as I'm walking backwards, and then making sure the pace stays consistent. So don't make it super slow, don't make it notchy, make it into like it's got to be relatively light in order to keep the speed up. So I'm just dragging something slowly backward, rolling from the toe to the heel every single time. And then the last one is a terminal knee extension. This is another really good knee rehab exercise. So I've got that medium band that I used for my good mornings and step through it. It's got to be at about knee height, and then I'm going to put a lot of tension on the band so that it wants to pull my knee into flexion, and then I'm just going to squeeze my glute, squeeze my quad to straighten my leg out. And I'm just doing that for 15 reps. Let it pull you as far into that bent ankle position, bent knee position as it can, and then you squeeze your quad in order to straighten your leg out, right? That's called terminal knee extension. That's one of our other knee rehab exercises that's really helpful for strengthening the patella tendon on both sides of the kneecap, all right? And that is it for today. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys next day. Crazy.